Welcome to another episode of the Part 145 EASA training from Phoenix Way Academy. Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, and I'm Sam. Well, in this deep dive, we will continue the topic of 145.A.60 occurrence reporting.
That's right. Our mission today is really to cut through the complexity of 145.A.60 occurrence reporting. This isn't just about, ticking compliance boxes. It's about uncovering the surprising power of thorough reporting in genuinely enhancing aviation safety. We're going to give you the shortcut to understanding its real-world impact.
Yeah, we're going to try and make the complex clear, weaving in practical context and some fresh examples. Our goal is for you, our listener, to grasp the full picture of how these regulations don't just exist on paper, but actually directly contribute to safer skies for everyone. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with the foundational principle. It's found in 145.A.60, Clause A. It states that, as part of its management system, the organization shall establish and maintain an occurrence reporting system, including mandatory and voluntary reporting.
Right. And what's truly fascinating here is this dual requirement. It's not just about what you have to report by law, that's the mandatory side. It's also about proactively capturing insights through voluntary reporting. Think of mandatory reports as covering, well, the known risks, the obvious issues. But voluntary reports, they cast a much wider net. They allow for the discovery of subtle trends, maybe unforeseen issues, or tiny glitches that might not be legally required reporting, but are absolutely crucial for understanding underlying systemic problems. You really need both for a robust safety culture. It turns seemingly small observations into vital safety intelligence.
That distinction is key, isn't it? Mandatory versus voluntary. Imagine a tiny, recurring electrical flicker in an aircraft. Never triggers a warning light, no immediate danger. On its own, it's just background noise, maybe. But if multiple technicians voluntarily report it over time, those small, seemingly insignificant reports can actually build up into a crucial signal. It might reveal a systemic wiring issue across a whole aircraft model, or maybe a specific batch of components. That's how voluntary reporting helps prevent a future major incident well before it even hits the radar for mandatory reporting. It's really about being proactive.
Absolutely. And Clause A also adds an important streamlining element. It says, for organizations that have their principal place of business in a member state, a single system may be established to meet the requirements of regulation. EU No. 376-2014 and its implementing acts and of Regulation EU 2018-1139 and its delegated and implementing acts.
Right. And what's great about this is the efficiency it offers organizations, operating within EASA member states. Instead of creating redundant reports for different but related regulations, they can potentially use one comprehensive system. It simplifies the admin burden quite a bit while still making sure all the necessary information is captured and shared across those multiple legal requirements. It's just smart regulation, really. It makes compliance easier.
Exactly. So in a nutshell, for 145.A.60, Clause A, you need a comprehensive occurrence reporting system. It has to embrace both mandatory and voluntary inputs that's fundamental to safety. And for organizations based in an EASA member state, the good news is you might be able to integrate your systems. That leads to more streamlined, less duplicative reporting.
Okay, so once you've identified a potential issue, the next crucial step is who needs to know about it? Because, an unreported event or one reported to the wrong person, it's like a tree falling in a forest, right? Clause B helps clarify exactly where these critical reports need to go. It states, the organization shall report to its competent authority and to the organization responsible for the design of the aircraft or component.
Yeah, this highlights the two primary recipients for these really critical safety reports. First, the competent authority, think of them as like the National Aviation Watchdog, the regulatory body overseeing compliance and safety standards for the whole industry. And second, the design organization. They need this feedback directly from the field. It helps them understand how their products are actually performing, identify any inherent design flaws, and drive continuous product improvement. It's a crucial two-pronged approach. You get both regulatory oversight and product evolution. Now, what exactly do you need to report? Clause B then specifies. Any safety-related event or condition of an aircraft or component identified by the organization which endangers or is not corrected or addressed could endanger an aircraft, its occupants, or any other person. And two, in particular, any accident or serious incident.
What truly stands out here for me is the broad scope of safety-related events. It explicitly includes potential dangers that critical could endanger aspect. This means organizations are expected to be proactive, reporting potential risks before they lead to an actual incident. It differentiates between identifying something that might become a problem and recording an actual accident or serious incident, which are obviously high-impact events. It's all about foresight, not just hindsight.
Exactly right. Consider finding, say, an unexpected wear pattern on a critical engine part during a routine inspection.
Mm.
That's a perfect example of a condition that could endanger the aircraft if it's ignored.
Yeah.
Even though no accident has happened, it absolutely must be reported to both the competent authority and the design organization. Now, contrast that with an actual engine shutdown during flight that would clearly be a serious incident and needs an immediate report. The first scenario is pure prevention. The second is about learning from a major event.
Okay, so for Clause B, the key takeaway is that reports go to both the regulator and the designer, and they cover a really wide spectrum of safety concerns. This includes potential risks, the things that could endanger, all the way up to actual accidents and serious incidents. It just underlines the vital importance of vigilance and proactive reporting, always. All right, moving on to Clause C. This details how reports are tailored depending on what's actually affected. It reads, the organization shall also report any such event or condition that affects an aircraft to the person or organization that is responsible for the continuing airworthiness of that aircraft in accordance with point MA.201 of Annex I, Part M, or point ML.A.201, Annex VB, Part ML, as applicable.
This clarifies why the Continuing Airworthiness Management Organization, the CAMO, or its equivalent, needs to be in the loop for aircraft-level events. They're the ones managing the aircraft's ongoing airworthiness status, its maintenance program, its whole operational life, basically. Any issue impacting the aircraft as a whole directly affects their oversight responsibilities. Making sure the aircraft stays safe to fly throughout its lifespan. They're kind of the guardians of the aircraft's long-term health. And Clause C then specifies for components. For events or conditions that affect aircraft components, the organization shall report to the person or organization that requested the maintenance.
What's crucial here is that distinction for component-specific issues, right? When it's about a particular component, the immediate concern often lies with the entity that initiated that specific maintenance work. The customer, maybe. This makes sure they're fully aware of the component status. Maybe it's unserviceable, has a defect, needs further action. It's about closing that loop directly with the customer or whoever's responsible for that component.
Let's think about a practical example for Clause C. If a recurring fault, like say a persistent landing gear retraction issue, is found on a specific aircraft, well, that report absolutely goes to the CAMO managing that aircraft. They need to update its maintenance records, maybe adjust the maintenance program. Now, if a batch of newly delivered components, say a particular type of valve consistently fails quality checks during installation, those component-related events get reported directly back to the customer or operator who requested that maintenance. This helps them track and address issues, perhaps with their supply chain or just specific parts from that batch.
So, the key takeaway for Clause C seems to be the targeted nature of reporting. It ensures that the correct entities, whether they're responsible for the aircraft's overall airworthiness or directly involved with a specific component's maintenance, are properly informed. That should lead to precise, effective action, preventing issues from slipping through the cracks. Makes sense. Now let's look at some specifics for organizations operating outside of EASA member states. Clause D begins. For organizations that do not have their principal place of business in a member state, 1. The initial mandatory reports shall appropriately safeguard the confidentiality of the identity of the reporter and of the persons mentioned in the report.
Yes, and this is a paramount principle. The importance of confidentiality for reporters really can't be overstated. It fundamentally encourages openness without fear of reprisal. People are just far more likely to report issues, even sensitive ones, if they know their identity will be protected. This is absolutely crucial for uncovering all issues, big or small. It fosters a true safety culture where individuals feel empowered to speak up without worrying about repercussions. Clause D continues, outlining more requirements for these initial reports from non-member state organizations. Quote, 2. Be made as soon as practicable, but in any case, within 72 hours after the organization has become aware of the occurrence, unless exceptional circumstances prevent this. 3. Be made in a form and manner established by the competent authority. 4. Contain all pertinent information about the condition known to the organization.
Okay, so we're seeing clear urgency there. 72 hours, that's a tight deadline, emphasizing speed in getting that initial report out. Then there's the need for specific forms and manners set by the competent authority that ensures consistency, making sure all necessary data points are captured right from the start. And finally, the requirement for comprehensive initial information. It means reporting everything that's known at that moment, even if all the details aren't fully understood yet. Get the vital info out quickly and accurately.
Exactly. For a real-life scenario, imagine a non-EU maintenance organization discovers a critical structural flaw during a routine check, something that could really compromise the aircraft's integrity. They must report it fast using the exact template their competent authority requires, providing all the details they know about the flaw. And crucially, they have to ensure the identity of the technician who found it stays confidential, protecting them from any potential fallout. This swift, detailed, confidential reporting is just vital for safety.
And Clause D also addresses the follow-up reports. 2, where relevant, a follow-up report that provides details of the actions the organization intends to take to prevent similar occurrences in the future shall be made as soon as those actions have been identified. Those follow-up reports shall be sent to the entities referred to in points B and C, to which the initial report was sent. 2, be made in a form and manner established by the competent authority.
This really stresses the closing the loop aspect of safety reporting. It's not enough just to identify a problem. Organizations have to demonstrate a clear commitment to preventing recurrence. Follow-up reports show the organization has investigated, hopefully identified root causes, and implemented corrective actions. This proactive approach is fundamental to continuous safety improvement and building that industry-wide resilience against similar incidents. It's all about learning and evolving.
So, in summary for Clause D, there are strict requirements for non-member state organizations. Emphasis on confidentiality for reporters, speedy initial reporting within 72 hours, providing comprehensive initial data, and crucially, committing to preventative actions through detailed follow-up reports. This whole meticulous process ensures issues are not just identified, but properly addressed and hopefully prevented from happening again. Okay, let's transition now from the core regulation to the acceptable means of compliance, the AMCs, and the guidance material, the GM. We're starting with AMC 14145.A.60. Clause A talks about organizations holding multiple certificates, it says. Where the organization holds one or more additional organization certificates within the scope of regulation, EU 20181139, and its delegated and implementing acts. 1. The organization may establish an integrated occurrence reporting system covering all certificates held. And 2. Single reports for occurrences should only be provided if the following conditions are met. 1. The report includes all relevant information from the perspective of the different organization certificates held. 2. The report addresses all relevant specific mandatory data fields and clearly identifies all certificate holders for which the report is made. And 3. The competent authority for all certificates is the same, and such single reporting was agreed with that competent authority.
Yeah, this is potentially a huge efficiency gain for organizations holding multiple EASA certificates, say, both maintenance and design approvals. They can consolidate their reporting systems, avoid duplicating effort. But, and it's a big but, this convenience comes with strict conditions. Every piece of critical info from each certificate's perspective must be included. All mandatory data fields addressed, all relevant certificate holders identified. And crucially, the competent authority overseeing all those certificates must be the same and must explicitly agree to this single reporting method. It's about ensuring thoroughness isn't sacrificed for efficiency. AMC 1 also touches on responsible personnel. Clause B states, the organization should assign responsibility to one or more suitably qualified persons with clearly defined authority for coordinating action on airworthiness occurrences and for initiating any necessary further investigation and follow-up activity.
Right. This highlights the importance of having dedicated, skilled people managing the process. It's not enough to just have a system for receiving reports. You need people with clear authority who can actually coordinate actions, kick off investigations, and ensure follow-up happens. These individuals are crucial in turning those raw reports into actual, meaningful safety improvements. They're the proactive drivers of safety, and Clause C builds on that point. If more than one person are assigned such responsibility, the organization should identify a single person to act as the main focal point for ensuring that a single reporting channel is established to the accountable manager. This should in particular apply to organizations holding one or more additional organization certificates, where the occurrence reporting system is fully integrated.
This emphasizes the need for a clear focal point. Even if you have a whole team handling occurrence reporting, having one central person ensures clear, unambiguous communication, especially upwards to the accountable manager. It prevents confusion, ensures consistency, streamlines decision-making, particularly important in complex organizations with integrated systems where info might come from various departments.
It's all about clear lines of responsibility, making sure nothing gets lost in translation.
So, to summarize AMC 14145.A.60, Integrated Reporting Systems. They offer significant benefits for multi-certified organizations, but only under strict conditions that ensure comprehensive information. Equally vital is the need for clear responsibilities, qualified personnel, and a designated focal point to maintain effective oversight and communication. Structure and accountability, basically. All right, moving on to AMC 24145.A.60. This one really focuses on collaboration with designers, it says. The organization should share relevant safety-related occurrence reports with the design approval holder or the declarant of a declaration of design compliance in order to enable it to issue appropriate service instructions and recommendations. Liaison is recommended to establish whether published or proposed service information will resolve a problem or to obtain a solution.
Yes, this clause truly emphasizes that crucial feedback loop back to the original designers. Reporting isn't just about fulfilling a reg requirement. It's about collaborative problem solving and continuous improvement. By sharing these reports, maintenance organization will enable designers to issue better service instructions, better recommendations, and ultimately to improve their product designs. This direct liaison is vital, maybe to see if existing service info can fix a recurring problem, or maybe a brand new solution needs developing. It's really the engine of continuous improvement for the entire fleet, not just one aircraft.
And this is where it gets really impactful, doesn't it? Imagine multiple maintenance organizations, maybe across different regions, consistently reporting the same component failure. Maybe a particular type of actuator keeps failing prematurely. Sharing that aggregated data with the original design holder. That can prompt them to redesign the part, which might then lead to a mandatory service bulletin for a fleet-wide fix, potentially impacting thousands of aircraft globally. It's a prime example of how individual reports contribute to systemic safety improvements benefiting the entire industry.
Absolutely. So to sum up AMC 24145.A.60, reporting is genuinely a two-way street. Sharing information with design organizations is key to continuous improvement. It helps resolve systemic issues and enhances safety not just for one aircraft, but for the entire fleet using those designs. It's how the industry learns, adapts, and evolves.
Okay, next, let's explore GM 14145.A.60, specifically Clause A, it mentions, for organizations having that principal place of business in a member state, Regulation EU 2015-1018 lays down a list classifying occurrences to be mandatorily reported. This list should not be understood as being an exhaustive collection. Reporting should not be limited to items listed in that regulation.
Right, and this is such a critical point about fostering a truly proactive safety culture. That mandatory reporting list from the EU regulation. It's really just a minimum requirement. Organizations are strongly encouraged to report anything that could pose a significant risk to aviation safety, even if it's not explicitly on that list. It pushes beyond mere compliance towards genuine risk awareness and prevention. It's that mindset shift from what must I report to what should I report to keep everyone safe.
Exactly. A real-life example might be a new unusual vibration detected on an engine during a test run. While it might not be explicitly listed as a mandatory reportable occurrence, its potential safety implications are pretty clear. It absolutely should be reported precisely because the mandatory list isn't exhaustive, and this issue could indicate a developing, potentially serious problem.
And on a practical note, GM 14145.A.60 also mentions in Clause B that AMC 20, General Acceptable Means of Compliance for Airworthiness of Products, Parts, and Appliances, provides further details on occurrence reporting, AMC 20-8A. This is just a valuable pointer for anyone who needs to dive even deeper into the specifics of occurrence reporting beyond what we've covered today.
Right, useful reference. Finally, let's clarify who exactly counts as a design organization for reporting purposes. GM 14145.A.60 subclause B provides the definition. Depending on the case, the organization responsible for the design can be A, the design approval holder, holder of a type certificate, restricted type certificate, supplemental type certificate, ETSO authorization, major repair design approval, major change design approval, or any other relevant approval. Under Commission Regulation EU No. 7482/012, B, the declarant of a declaration of design compliance under Part 21 Light.
Yeah, this clarifies the wide range of entities that actually qualify as a design organization. It's not just the company that built the original plane. It covers anyone holding an official approval for a specific design. Could be a new aircraft type, a specialized component, a major repair, even a modification. This breadth ensures reports reach the precise entity responsible for the design integrity of whatever part or product is having an issue, from the smallest appliance right up to the entire airframe.
So, to summarize these last two GN clauses, remember that mandatory reporting lists are a minimum. We need to encourage a broader safety reporting culture that actively seeks out and reports potential risks. And we've also clarified that comprehensive definition of a design organization to make sure reports are accurately sent to the correct and most impactful recipient, closing that loop effectively. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that 145.A.60 isn't just another bureaucratic requirement. It's really like the nervous system of aviation safety. It ensures that vital information about potential and actual safety issues flows effectively. It allows lessons to be learned, improvements to be continuously made across the entire industry. Every single report, big or small, truly contributes to a safer future.
Absolutely. And maybe something to think about. Consider the profound impact each seemingly small occurrence report can have, not just on a single aircraft, but potentially on the safety of an entire fleet and even the future direction of aviation design and maintenance. How can you, listening now, contribute to ensuring these insights are not just collected, but are genuinely acted upon within your sphere of influence?
In the next deep dive, we will cover 145.A.65 maintenance procedures.
Follow us on social media under the name Phoenix Way Academy.
Thanks for listening. Stay safe and stay informed.